Hi everyone, it's Adrian Leah. I mainly have some things that I thrifted today and maybe an item or two that I didn't that I'll show. But as I mentioned in the last couple of videos, I'm working on decorating my kitchen and reorganizing the things in the kitchen dining room area, but I do have some things that are more for of my crafting hobbies that I like to do. So I went to a cafe, and it's a cafe slash thrift store. I really enjoy going there. It's a little out of my way these days because I moved to a different area this year, but I do like going there from time to time because I like the stuff that they sell. Some of the things are from local artists, and there are a lot of clothes there and books. So, and then some of the kitchen items that are like mugs, and they have some of their own merchandise too. So I enjoy the way that it's set up, how cozy it is. It's definitely somewhere where I feel that it's for those who are into I don't want to say hipster, but I don't know another word right now that I would describe it as, but it is more on the eclectic side. So I think that would be a better word to describe it, but I love going there. And I got some cups, so I like to get them when there are two, usually, especially for plates. I think it's good to have at least two. And then there was this mug that has wheat on it. So I won't be drinking out of this. I'll store something in it. The other mug that I got last time at Goodwill, I already put some of the pastry utensils in there too. Bread utensils. So it's getting good use out of it. Oh. Then I got some books. I thought that this was really nice because the shelving thing that I got in IKEA, it is natural wood, which is definitely beautiful. I was thinking I would paint over it. I do love to paint. This book is The Techniques in American Folk Decoration. The back. But even in the beginning, it even has the color palettes that are common in sorry, this type of color, or this type of painting style, I guess. So it'll definitely give me ideas. As soon as I saw it, I was really excited because I do want to paint over some furniture items, especially when IKEA they have a lot of natural, not stained type of wood, which I love too. The exposed one, there's this pine shelf that I saw that I was thinking of, but again, as I said in another video, maybe it wasn't meant to be because they didn't have it in stock at the time in that location, and I just didn't end up getting anything for it aside from the storage and other kitchen items. So the wooden storage stores a lot of the baking items. So I was thinking to get just a table to go against the wall, and you know, putting them tastefully putting them on top of the table and organizing it so that it looks presentable. I think that would be good because I also have things that I could store underneath it too. But it was for some of the bulkier baking items, and in general, I wanted to have a separate area. To expand the kitchen a little bit, it has old vintage items in here too. This one. So I'm excited to get started on this. It'll feel a little less there's just stuff in the kitchen because I didn't get a table yet for it, so when I get the table I feel like I would really want to start this project off, at least for the wooden one that I got last time. And sorry, hopefully this is somewhat interesting because I know I started my YouTube channel with tarot related videos, and I connected with a lot of tarot readers from around the world, and I'm so happy that a lot of you guys still keep in touch with me and have been with me through all of the fuckery of my life, because now I'm literally making videos about random stuff. But anyway, I got this quilted clothing book. I love the color of it. Looks a little medieval. So I really like quilted garments. I have a specific vision that I would like. So I'm excited about these these different structured pieces of clothing that I could try, and then do some of the more traditional quilted patterns lines on the garment, so I think I would have fun with this one too, because I do want to bring out my sewing machine more. And then it talks about accents and accessories, how you could put different types of motifs when you're quilting. I also have a quilted blanket book too on how to quilt stories. So I haven't begun with that one, but I do love looking through it because I love the folk story type of is it an aesthetic? But I tend to appreciate the vintage things. So those were and I got this straw. I usually carry glass straws when I go out. And I did try the wooden straws from IKEA. I really love them. And I like that sometimes you taste a little bit of the wood, and don't take that out of context. But I'm picky about the types of straw materials. So I did mention it in another video. I don't like the silicone ones or the metal ones. I usually go for the glass ones or the plastic ones, but I try not to. And then there's the paper ones too, which are okay too. I'm not a fast drinker usually, so I tend to prefer the glass ones and now the wooden ones, because you can reuse them and they work really well. I still have to put my bed cover on, so I'll do that. Well, it's almost midnight right now. Not like that's ever been an issue for me because I usually stay up really late anyway. But I have off for Labor Day, so I'm going to be staying home and attending to some things that I need to clean, and some projects. I do have a couple of projects. I've shown my Sleipnir cardigan a couple of times. I'm almost finished the yoke, as I said. I do have another project, which is a gift knit. I'm thinking I'm going to start that one really soon because I already asked my best friend about the yarn choice, because it was between two yarns that I had, and it's going to be one color. It's surprising for me because I don't knit with just one color. So the recipient wants black or navy. I'm already knitting a navy. I mean, I could have knit another navy because I do like that color, but I didn't have it right at the moment. I did see some I did see some at the yarn store that I liked, and then I saw other things that I liked because I was at the yarn shop, one of the yarn shops, and it's been interesting going to the latest one that I've recently just started going to, because it has brands that I haven't seen in person before, and then they have like a really nice sale section and a lot of sales there. So I was there and I was looking at the different yarns, and I've been loving tweed, and so I was like, oh my god, I see this black tweed, and then I'm just like, oh my god, Adrian, shut the fuck up. He literally said black or navy. I'm just me just trying to change it, but I don't know. I'm excited about the yarn that I chose because it's in this bag, and I chose my Patagonia and anthracite. I was actually going to knit myself a black garment with a contrast color for the cold season coming up, so it would be ready for winter. I'm hoping it's going to be ready for winter. I'm not too sure because it's my first cable garment and I love knitting cables. So I thought it would make it more interesting for me because I love knitting cable and color work. And I love the finish of the Patagonia. It's the Argentinian organic wool, and it's the main color in the Nuna jumper. And so this one is more of like a peppery color. My best friend and I decided that it would have more advantages being a non-superwash just because it holds shape a lot. It just holds shape compared to superwash, and I do love superwash too, and it has its advantages. But I feel like it would be nice, and it is soft for a non-superwash. I don't think it's too rough, and especially after you wash it and then it starts to bloom, it softens up even more, and then you get rid of whatever, I guess, itch factor that was there previously, because it is a little, like at the tiniest bit, a little itchy, but after I washed it, it just dissipated. So I'm excited. This is 100 grams, and with the size that I'm making, I need 1,000. So I already had this in stash, and I'm just gonna work through this and eventually, take a stroll down to the yarn shop. This is actually from my local yarn shop, which is less than 10 minutes away from me, so it's nice. But the owners, they're a military family, so sometimes they are away for a period of time, which is how I found the other yarn shop that I've been going to. But the pattern is, sorry, I keep just like, the pattern is from the West Yorkshire Spinners book, the Croft and 100% Shetland wool. So it's an English yarn, and there's a lot of patterns in there, and one of the ones is the Boyd jumper, which is full-on cables. It is going to be panels and doing piece by piece, which I don't mind, and I think it'll be a change up for me. This whole thing is a change up anyway, but I feel like I'll really enjoy knitting the garment because I really like to take time to knit gift knits, and of course I'll do what I'd like to do with my own garments, but I feel like with the gift ones, I really put some TLC into it, which is, it's not like I don't do that with my garments, but if that makes sense, because I feel like when I made my mom's fingerless mittens, I just loved the finish on them. So I'll be starting it probably sooner rather than later, because that was the main thing, was finding the pattern and then finding or thinking about what yarn that I wanted to use the other one that we were also thinking about was the Barico superwash wool in DK. So which is also a nice pepper colorway. The only thing with Barico that is kind of not ideal for this garment is that it tends to pill after a while and it halos. And when I knit cables, I like them to be defined, and non-superwash will definitely do that because again, the non-superwash holds its shape and the superwash tends to stretch out, so it definitely has different advantages for the yarns, but non-superwash will hold and be more durable over time too, so that's another thing. And I just wanted to show my new pie dish, and this is from the Hearth and Hands with Magnolia. It could go into the oven up to 500 degrees, which is good because I would need it to go around like 425 anyway. And I like this one because of the I like this one because it didn't have as much of a going around like the circumference of the plate. So the other one that I have, it's still really helpful and I've made pies with it. It just has the more going on here, so I'm excited to use this one. I got some nails from IKEA. It was a little bit of change of plans. As I said, I think I'm going to get a table instead and organize the stuff on top of the table. And then I have some things that I can store underneath too. I kind of wanted to show the deck that I've been using for a lot of the readings, and it's been on my channel more frequently recently, but not so much in the past, because in the past it's exciting to discover new decks, and especially the self-published decks that tend to be on the pricier side, and I do get them from time to time, but since my main hobby is knitting more than it is reading, I would invest more in my knitting or other crafting supplies. But I still love to read, and I do my client readings. This one I do use for client readings, and it's one of my older ones. And as I said, like in other videos, I don't really talk about it that much, and it's the Tarot Nova. It's in this pouch that Mary Bow crocheted. I had to get back to her, but I'm going to be sending off a care package because there's a couple things that when I look at it I'm thinking like I'm gonna give it to her, and she's one of the tarot readers and amazing friends that I've met through YouTube. And so it's so nice that we can still keep in touch because it's been what, like 7 years that I think I have been doing it. Because this isn't the original channel. I had another channel and then I made this channel. But I don't talk about this deck that much. It's more of it not novelty, because it's definitely a solid readable deck for me with the reading style and the type of artwork that it has on it. It's one of the, I feel that if you collect tarot in a again, like with self-published decks and the exciting decks, this is one of the cheapest decks that you'll get. And I wouldn't have it deter you from trying out the deck because I think it's a readable one. For the longest time, it was mainly used for my money career readings, but now it has been one that it's more rounded and I use it for different things. So with me not showing the deck, but this is the deck and I love how small it is because if you've seen my bags, I just put a fuck ton of stuff in it, and surprisingly I have one of my smallest bags, but it fits everything that I need in it. And then I have an extra bag where it has like my knitting stuff. So that's it right there. It's the Harris tweed one and I love it. It's really, I guess, sophisticated. And the yarn festivals are coming up. I know in my area, not too much in my area anymore because again I moved away from that area. There's going to be the Blue Month Fair, which is focused on more of the local traditions and even it's like a enlightening event on some of the native tribes that are in the area. So it's so fun and I enjoy going there and learning and seeing the local artwork that's there. And there's animals there, like the fairs. I don't think I've been to a fair in this area that hasn't had animals, so it's always exciting. So then there's one of the biggest ones that's my favorite is the Shenandoah Valley Fiber Festival. That is going to be after the Blue Month Fair. And the fairs will keep going until it's warm, but even when it started to get warm, like maybe up till May, there was still some festivals going on. And there was a festival that I heard that was in North Carolina, but that's a couple hours away. But the technician that I used to work with, she went back home and I was thinking about it because I was like, well, it gives me an excuse to visit her and then go to the festival too, but I didn't end up going. Again, sorry, me talking and then not showing anything. So I love the folk artwork that it has, and there are colors in the corners to show what major arcana and what minor arcana suit it is. And I do really connect to decks that are more minimal I feel that I use them more in client readings, but it also depends on the type of deck that it is too. Majority of the decks that I read with tend to be either fairy, Celtic, or Native American based or animal based. And this is more on the, I guess, folk side of it. That's how I view the deck. Because I was getting really into, there's this one YouTube channel, it's the Bulgarian folk tales, and I love the types of stories that they have. I love the artwork, and then you can see the culture through the stories of what they talk about. So that's what this deck kind of reminds me of. And I watched like all like 200 plus episodes. They're not long, but I was waiting a while to start them over again. So it's been a good amount of time. So I think I'm gonna start watching it. And then my plates, I never took them down because once they were up, I wasn't gonna like fuck with it. So the two plates I was saying, they're the Finnish plates, the Kalevala plates, and I love them. I got them off of Etsy at a decent price from an American seller because there was also the shipping cost if I were to get them overseas. This one, there was still a shipping cost, but it was at a low enough price to where it still trumped the other plates that I saw that were for sale. And those are the two that I wanted. I might do a close-up at some point on it. But I love the Kalevala. I love the Kalevala jewelry, and I talk about Jenna Kosket's book all the time of the knitted Kalevala, where she has her poems and then her colorwork garments in there. And most of them are, well, all of them are like nature themed with some floral patterns, and then there's a lot of animal patterns that I really love too. So, like I said, she's coming out with another book, and I just need to knit her stuff. That was going to be one of the next knits. That was going to be the black garment. But I'm happy to knit the cable sweater because it's going to be black, and I wanted to knit black this year. So I'll end the video. Don't really have much. Well, I am going to eat. And I usually have. It's not less exciting, but it tends to be a little more subdued when I eat during the week because I work during the week compared to when I still eat pretty as clean as I would like, but I do say that good food that's good for you can be delicious too. So if I want to eat something that's a little out of the norm, I usually do that on the weekends because I don't want to get an upset stomach when I'm working. So thank thank you guys so much for watching. I hope, again, this is interesting, and I know it's been, as the years have gone, or go on, it's all the stuff that has happened and changed. I just, I'm happy that you're still sticking around to watch the randomness, and it's also because I want to keep track of certain things too, and to, I guess, entertain myself, because I mainly do it because it's something to do. I feel like I have more of a hyperactive personality in terms of wanting to keep myself occupied with doing some project, and I enjoy making these. And Ace of Swords. And with that one, I'm getting a confrontation for some unexpected. Maybe to clear the air, you have Temperance at the bottom. Sometimes making choices on things that you have to do, or the options, or the things that are given to you, with the Four of Cups and the High Priestess, which is also clarified by the Seven of Cups too. Which, Seven of Cups, it can be a little, at least me being a Libra, a little or a lot with making the decision, because you want to make something that is good for yourself and maintaining your values and even your self-respect, and then another person's. So with, what is it, when one door closes, another one opens. And then the final card is the Three of Swords. So with that one, I feel like I'm getting exposure, and the typical Three of Swords is a heartbreak, but with this one, I'm getting it's being expressive, because when you have the Two of Swords, it feels a little secretive, that you're trying to pinpoint, and even sometimes like walking on eggshells and not wanting to say the wrong things, or hoping that the right things will be said. So with the Three of Swords, I feel like it'll be kind of the breath of fresh air, or at least the band-aid that needed to be ripped off for anybody. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in another video.